Hello! Hello, friends. My name is Teacher Evelyn Joy, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about pregnancy update. I'm currently 30 weeks pregnant, and we're going to talk about what's new in VIP Kid land, and then in a little while, I have a doctor's appointment. So that's why I'm going live a little bit early. I tried to notify a few friends. If you're watching this later on, that's fine too. Thank you for joining the party. If you don't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would love that. I currently have 2 people watching and 1 thumbs up. Thank you so much. Hey, Dani, welcome. Go ahead and say hello in the chat box. So I'm going to read some facts about being 30 weeks pregnant, the size of the baby, survival rate, and some silly facts about being 30 weeks pregnant. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things that are new in VIP Kid land, okay? So let's get started. I have notes this time. All right, so currently baby is 15 to 17 inches long. Baby is just under or just above 3 pounds, so possibly 2.9 pounds, possibly 3 pounds. Yeah, Dani said, woohoo, congrats on 30 weeks. So these are the facts that I want to say that are exciting. So when you're 28 weeks pregnant, the baby has an 80% chance survival rate, which is awesome. When you're 29 to 30 weeks pregnant, your baby has a 90% survival rate. And 31 weeks and above is a 95% survival rate. So as a mom who I've had 4 pregnancy losses, one of them was a year ago and very traumatic, and it was in my 2nd trimester and I had to give birth and everything. Because of all of that, pregnancy is traumatic for me. So it's exciting to see those milestones of like 90% survival rate, 95% survival rate, 3 pounds, you know, all these things. Some silly things. I almost never talk about how the apps and the internet always compares the baby's size to really random things. But this time it was pretty comical because there was 3 different things that I don't consider being around the same size. They said a head of broccoli or a cabbage or a bicycle helmet. To me, those are like varying in sizes. But I thought that was funny that they said, oh, at 30 weeks, your baby's the size of a bicycle helmet. And I'm thinking, maybe in length, not like in proportions. A head of broccoli. Who compares broccoli to a baby? A head of cabbage, I could see that, but I think the baby's a bit bigger than a head of cabbage. Anyway, silly how they do that. But I crocheted half of a baby blanket. I need to buy some more yarn, but I crocheted it pretty much in 1 day because I'm in nesting mode. I found a show on YouTube, which is from like the Lifetime channel, but they have a YouTube channel, Lifetime, and they have some full episodes of escaping polygamy. And it's actually really interesting and cool about people who help people escape from this cult that controls people's lives. So anyway, I watched a lot of that and crocheted a lot. I bought my kids a Christmas present early, but it was too fun not to play with. I got them Mega Blocks, which are big Legos, so they're not a choking hazard. There's no way you could like not see it and step on it and hurt yourself. So I love them because I was thinking, my son Joshua for Christmas, he either needed Legos or blocks because he loves building, and we're working on his colors, teaching him his colors. So it's a lot of fun. So I got them 2 bags of Mega Block Legos, and I realized we don't have enough for them all 3 to like share them and build things. So I'm going to get another one, but I got them on Facebook Marketplace. 1 big bag for $5 and 1 big bag for $3. And now I'm going to get another one for like $5. So why buy new when you can buy like new for cheaper, right? Hey, Candy. Welcome, Teacher Candy. Welcome, Teacher Kelly. So yeah, that's what's been new in our lives. I don't know if you noticed, but I put up a video about a week ago of the first snow. And it was in October, and I live in Kansas. That's pretty ridiculous. But we had like an inch or less of snow. It was enough that it stuck to the ground, and you could make a snowball out of it, or maybe even a small snowman. So anyway, I bundled my kids up and let them play outside for a little while and made a little video. Then they're like, our hands hurt. I'm like, let's go inside. So anyway, I made that video. And then yesterday it was gorgeous weather. It was 65 degrees. And so we went to the park. I made them wear long sleeves, but I didn't make them wear jackets. We went to the park and we were playing. It was so funny because I saw a lady who was of Asian descent, and she was dressed like an Eskimo, and she had her daughter in a straight up coat. I was like, oh, winter's going to be difficult for you. It reminds me of when I went to language school in Texas, and I went to missionary language school. They had a small missionary language school and a big seminary for people coming from Mexico and South America. So they're coming from countries that don't have winter, not Mexico, but South America. And so they would see me when it's like 65 degrees outside. They would see me in a short sleeve shirt. They would be like, aren't you freezing? And they would be in coats and jackets. I'm like, I'm from Kansas. Like, this is not cold. So it's funny sometimes when you're out and about and you see people dressed like for Alaskan winter and it's like 65 degrees outside and your kids are in long sleeves, you know? I feel like I'm doing a good job. They're in long sleeves, right? Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. We got to go to the Panda Park, Penguin Park. So I wanted to talk about some pregnancy symptoms. I've been a lot more sensitive to food lately. So what I notice is if I eat sugary things, I end up throwing up. Sorry. Sorry for the TMI. Pregnancy symptoms are always TMI, so I try to keep it PG on my channel, but it's hard. So anyway, I made myself physically ill because, you know, my family, we don't really celebrate Halloween. Except for I wore, you know, some Minnie Mouse ears in class and stuff. But we do celebrate November 1st, half price candy day. So I bought candy for 50 cents at Dollar Tree, and I ended up eating a whole bag and made myself so sick. And so I realized that if I eat salads and vegetables and apples and stuff, I feel really good. And if I eat like candy and junk food, I feel really bad. So it's kind of like how you normally feel multiplied by 100. So it's always good to eat healthy and not eat junk food. But when you're 30 weeks pregnant, sometimes your body tells you, you are not allowed to eat that junk food. You have to eat that healthy food. And at the same time, it's like, oh my goodness, this salad is so delicious. I could marry it right now. So those increased emotions involved with food. So anyway, with VIPKID land, we fell back an hour on our clock. So we're getting up an hour earlier, maybe, for our PPT slots. For me, it's just a half hour earlier because I just teach less. And then the last 2 time slots that they told us could potentially be booked with trials, I call BS. Sorry. Okay, that sounded rude. I am not going to hold my breath for any bookings in those 2 time slots because people have been asking on Facebook, hey, is anybody at all getting booked for trials for those last 2 time slots? The answer is a few people are getting trials, but not for those time slots. I've gotten a few trials, but not for the last 2 time slots. So I'm not holding my breath for that. I'm going to read what you guys are saying in the chat box. Okay. Let's see. Dani says she remembers when they say the baby's the size of a grapefruit. Yeah. I think it's silly because babies aren't born in the shape of a cabbage or a grapefruit. They're not born like a ball. You don't say like, oh, your baby's a basketball now. When the baby's born, you don't look at them and be like, oh my goodness, that size looks exactly like a basketball. It's like, no, like, I just think the comparisons are really strange, with the exception of if they compare to something that's longer, like sometimes they say like an eggplant, that I could kind of see, kind of, or like that squash that's longer. Anyway, if it's something fat and long, then it kind of makes sense, but other than that, doesn't make sense to be like, oh, this week your baby is the size of a cucumber, and the next week your baby's the size of a cabbage, and then the next week they're the size of a melon. It's like, no, they're not. They're the size of a baby. Anyway. Okay, Dani said it snowed here last November 18th. So that must be last year, I'm guessing. Global warming, haha. Yeah. Well, in Kansas City, we say if you don't like the weather, wait a couple of days, it'll change. So in Kansas City, we tend to have fluctuations in weather because we're in the middle of the United States. We get, if there's like a hurricane somewhere on the coast, we're far from the beach. So we end up with a lot of rain, or it just depends. Like other people's weather affects us in different ways. So if there's a heat wave, it hits us late and all that stuff. So yeah. So welcome. We have Dani, Kelly, and Teacher Candy here. Welcome, welcome. So yeah. Yes, my body is talking to me. Exactly, Dani. So I'm listening. I'm like, okay, more salads, less candy. Got it. Thanks, body. Sounds good to me. Yesterday, I had a coupon for Wendy's for $2 off a full-size salad. And I appreciate Wendy's because you can get a drive-through salad. And I love that. So they have this one salad that has chicken and avocado in it, and I get ranch for it. It's the Southwest salad. And it is so delicious. And it's nice because if when you're eating certain vitamins, you have to eat a little bit of healthy fat with it to help you absorb it. So it's really nice to have that chicken and avocado and ranch in there with the lettuce. So it's not just straight lettuce, because that sometimes doesn't absorb as well. So anyway, I'm talking like I'm so healthy and I know so much, right? I ate a full bag of candy, made myself sick, guys. Anyway, so 2 different times this week, I was physically ill for like 2 or 3 hours before classes. So those were days that I was so thankful that I only had 4 classes to teach. And sometimes I had trial no-shows, and I was so thankful because I was feeling like very nauseated. So I'm going to be making a little bit less money, but I'm going to be making up for it on Friday and Saturday nights by teaching 6 classes. So I'm still like, if all the bookings I open book, which for the most part they are, then I would be teaching 40 classes in a week, which is 20 hours of work, which is plenty for someone who's 30 weeks pregnant. I've got to say that I'm so thankful to have an online job sitting down. I know some of y'all love to teach standing up. I'm not in that club quite yet. But I love that I can just sit down and teach for a couple of hours, have the rest of the time with my kids, make a paycheck, pay the mortgage, and all that. So my husband had a terrible car wreck that could have taken his life, but God protected him, and he went to the junkyard, pick and pull, where you can buy car parts for cheap, and he bought and installed a new door on his car. Now I affectionately nicknamed his car the Panda car because it's a white car with a black door. How cute is that? So instead of having a totaled vehicle, my husband now has a Panda vehicle. So we are so thankful that he was able to fix it for cheap, because me being in my 3rd trimester, it's kind of dangerous letting him just take our only vehicle to work. And what if there's an emergency and I need to go to the hospital? So we're so thankful that he has something to drive to work so that I have something in case of emergency or to go to my doctor's appointments or whatever. So Teacher Candy said insurance didn't cover it. Well, what happened was my husband was in the middle lane waiting to turn to make a U-turn, a legal one. He was stopped, and a car came up from behind and T-boned him. And someone got the license plate, and she fled the scene. And so my husband had liability-only insurance on the car because we're cheap like that. For us, like, if we're making payments on the car, we're required to have full coverage. But if we have the car paid off, we pay liability because it's cheaper and money's really tight for us. So that is a risk we take. So our insurance wouldn't cover it because she was at fault. We had liability. And so then we filed the police report and everything. Turns out she's our neighbor on our street. So this happened a mile away from our home, but she lives on our street. But she does not have insurance. So we don't foresee getting money out of the situation at all. So we're thankful that my husband was able to get parts for cheap, use the credit card, but we're just thankful that, number one, he's alive. Cars can be replaced. You can put a black door on a white car and call it a panda car and drive it to work, right? We're just thankful that he's alive because I have a couple of friends that have recently been widowed, and it's very scary. So I'm so thankful. So thankful that he's alive. That's the biggest thing. So I wanted to talk about if you have noticed the last PPT time slot, which is before those last 2 time slots that are not booking, at 9 p.m. Beijing time, there's an automated message that whether or not you have exited the classroom, pretty much all of us exit the classroom by then, there's an automated message in the chat box. So when we go back to write our feedback, we're like, but I exited the classroom. Why are they sending this message? The firemen send that automated message to all of the classes to cover their rears in China because they have to prove that, they're following the laws and regulations of China. So they do that just to show, we told all of the teachers that at 9 p.m. classes are done, student needs to rest. That's the regulation, right? So the message says, it's 10 p.m., time for the student to rest. You may end the class now. And then there's a message about the same length in Chinese telling the student, it's 9 p.m., time to go to bed, or whatever they say in Chinese. So yeah, I'm going to read what you are saying. Okay, so Dani said, you don't pay for uninsured motorist coverage? Never heard of it. It's a small addition to a bill, like $4 a month. That's interesting. We didn't know about that. Would look into your insurance. If you call, they can be really helpful to adjust your rates and make sure you are getting the best deal coverage. I call mine every 6 months to double check I'm getting all the discounts and usually get some reduction from doing that. Oh, wow. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm going to write that down. 1 second. Uninsured motorist coverage. Okay, good to know. Never hurts to ask. Exactly. Very true. Oh, I wanted to say the other day I mentioned that we had an overdraft fee because some automatic bills came out when we didn't have the money for it. And some of you guys, I think Teacher Candy told me that she used to be a banker and you can call and ask them to, give you some grace and take that off. And my husband called and they gave us our money back. So thank you for that $30. That's some gas and groceries right there. I appreciate the tip. So talking to you guys gives me good ideas sometimes. So also our e-cards are back, but they're a little different. You can no longer write your own message, but you can choose out of the options of messages. That there's a plus and a negative to that. For my friends that do short notice bookings, like my friend Dani, that enjoyed sending messages to her students on e-cards and saying, I just teach short notice and, book me or whatever. We can't send those kind of messages, but we can click and say, hey, I had an awesome time in class with you. Or if I noticed that even if it's a student I've never taught before, they got booked for me maybe by the LP and then the parents, maybe canceled it. I even have the option to send e-cards to those people that I've never taught a class with them and I'm not booked for a class with them, but they canceled a possible booking. I can send them a missed connection message and say, hey, I hope to teach you sometime soon, So one thing I really, Dani, you crack me up. She says, lame, VIP kid giveth and taketh away. Well, I think one thing that's kind of good about this is these automated messages that you can select. They're like long, so they're a few sentences long. They're things that I would typically normally want to send anyway about like, your student is so smart and I enjoyed class with you and we had an excellent time, blah, blah, blah. So it's the kind of thing I would like to say. And we have several options on each card has 3 different messages that you can select. And there's several that are free and you don't have to use any tokens for. There's like 4 or 5 that are free. So that is like 15 different messages you can select from. The thing I really like about it is that it's going to translate correctly because what they did was they wrote the message in English. They already wrote the message in Chinese. So it's going to, nothing's going to get lost in translation with those automated messages. So there's positives, there's negatives. You can't send them like a personalized message like, oh, I missed class because I was sick or whatever. You can't send that, but you can say, I'm so sorry I missed you in class. I hope to see you again soon, so give and take. For me, it was a lot faster to click, 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 click. And I sent a bunch of e-cards yesterday. I was like, e-card queen. I could be scrolling Facebook, but instead I'm sending e-cards and these e-cards are going to give me bookings. So click. Okay, you're an excellent student. Sorry I missed you. Happy to see you. Love to teach you. Okay, book me again. See you soon. Have a great day. Thanks. Okay, I sent like 20 e-cards in like 1 minute, so we're good. So if you are a veteran teacher, take advantage of those e-cards, especially if you're struggling with bookings. Send out e-cards to any and every student you get because that is just showing personal attention and personal care to the student, and it's going to make the parent think, you know what? I did like that teacher. I think I'll book them again. So yeah, generic but fast, exactly. And it seems personal because the messages sound like something I would say in a personalized message. So it's kind of like, how some people use Feedback Panda. It's kind of like that, like copy and paste type idea. Oh yeah. So teacher Kelly said, I cannot remind them about projects for assessments. I cannot tell them my schedule. Yeah. Hey. So teacher Candy with a K is here. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, that's about all I have to talk about. Just the time change. I took a breastfeeding class with Wick yesterday. It was a reminder of all the things I already know about breastfeeding, but it was interesting. It was nice because my husband was able to watch the kids during that time. It was a nice little break, but I hope you guys have a lovely day. Talk to you later. I've got to go to a doctor's appointment. Bye. Thanks, Morgan. See ya. I love you.